Hello everyone, welcome to a new ASMR Reiki session with me. My name is Silka. If you're new here, hi. Today's session has been partially requested by Christina Knight. She asked for a video on empaths and how to provide protection for ourselves if we identify as an empath. I wanted to add to that some cord cutting as well, some releasing of karmic bonds, as I feel like a lot of people who identify as empaths sometimes have trouble releasing cords, or people will attach to them energetically because their aura, their energetic field is so open. So if you clicked on this video specifically as a video to help you fall asleep, know that there will be some louder sounds like matches, some snipping with my fingers. I'll be using my scissors today as well. I'll link a video up above that is perfect for sleep, that has no harsh sounds, just my soothing voice, very soothing video. Also, I hear you guys' request for another video like that, and I am planning to film that very soon. Also, there was a request to film another video with my friend Vanessa to do a hair brushing type of video, which we are hopefully going to do this weekend. So we have a lot of exciting videos coming up. So yeah, let's get started with today's video. I want to start as usual by clearing the energy. It kind of helps us to create a mental boundary between everything that has happened today so far and the space that we will be entering into during this video. So normally when I clear space, I'll use incense or sage. I do have some Palo Santo with me today, which I rarely use, only for special occasions, because Palo Santo is endangered tree species at this point, and I only have the tiniest little piece left, and I don't plan on buying any new one just because I don't want to add to the consumption of it. But I thought today is such a powerful session that I do want to bring in the energy of the Palo Santo. So I have a candle with me here, which I'll use to light the Palo Santo. And as I do this, take your time to make yourself super comfortable. Plant your feet firmly down onto the surface below you, or if you're laying down on your bed, allow the backside of your body to melt down into your bed. Okay. So, it smells so good. Just going to move this through your aura to help set up the space energetically. Feel free to take a couple of deep breaths with me here to help signal your nervous system that it has come to that part of the day where it is safe to relax, to release. So take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it at the top, and exhale out through your mouth. Inhale in, hold it at the top, Inhale. Hold. Exhale. Allow your whole body to sink down. Feel free to keep breathing deeply. Okay, beautiful. So, let's start by activating the session with Reiki energy by drawing a couple of symbols to help anchor and invite in the Reiki energy that is accessible to all of us. So, Choku Rei, Choku Rei, Choku Rei. Seiki, Seiki, Seiki. Just going to sweep your aura here to help remove any surface energetic static that you have accumulated during the day. You can imagine this being like a shower for your aura. The water cleansing off the outer layers, allowing any dust to be washed off of you. And then I'm gonna go in with, personally, my favorite crystal, which is selenite. This is a selenite wand, and I'm going to use this to go just a tad bit deeper into your aura. And I'm going to use this one with the intention of just removing anything that you've picked up during the day, and then I'm going to go in with another crystal to go deeper into karmic bonds or cords, the stuff that's kind of deeper. But I want to first go into everything that we have attached to ourselves somehow of this day, any conversations that are still going on through our mind, any things that we wished we had done different, or maybe things that were really good, things that we're really happy about, but we kind of just want to bring that all down so that we can focus in on what we're focusing on today's session, which is cords and creating boundaries for empaths. So just imagine this as a magnet, if you want to, picking up anything from today or from the last couple of days, anything that has been ruminating in your mind. And if it's anything that's important, you can imagine me putting that to the side so that when the session's over, you can go back to it. Sometimes our mind will get stuck in a repeating pattern because it's something that's important that we can't forget about. Maybe it's something that we need to do. Maybe it's something that is important to us. So not all of our repetitive patterns are bad or dysfunctional. Some of them have a really good purpose. But for now, for the next couple of minutes, we don't need to think about that. So let's just put it to the side, drop the backpack, going to focus in on your third eye right now. Pick up anything that's playing on repeat in your mind. Okay. Then, to prep for our cord cutting and plucking of attachments that we'll do in a little bit, I want to use this beautiful hematite, which is a very grounding stone. It has a lot of iron in it, so it's very heavy, which partially gives it its grounding properties. And I'm just going to move this slowly through your aura to go in for a deeper kind of cleanse. This one, you can imagine any sort of attachments or cords that you have kind of unlocking. So you can imagine them kind of like a dial, and the hematite turning the dial to unlock them so that in a little bit we have better access to them and we can just remove them easily from the energetic matrix around you. And we're just opening up those attachments that are ready to go. Attachments and cords in itself are not bad at all. We need them. We are social creatures as humans. We need connections and attachments to people to feel physically safe, emotionally safe. But we want to be aware of the attachments that don't serve us, the attachments that drain us. That could be both, or not just with people, but also with ideas that we have about ourselves, certain beliefs. We can form attachments with that too in an unhealthy way. So just opening up the channels, the little door or gateway to those attachments with the hematite. Okay. So let's get another feel for everything here. And the beauty about being an empath is that we can really feel on a physical, personal level what someone else is going through. And there's a great sense of power in that. It really helps us see that person's point of view, to see their reality. But it can also be very draining to our own energy. And with any kind of great power comes great responsibility. Responsibility to ourselves to know when enough is enough, to set boundaries for ourselves, to be able to reserve energy for ourselves, to protect ourselves. So we'll be working on protection. At the end of the session, I have some affirmations prepared for you guys. But the first thing we want to do first is to clear the attachments. Okay. So the first type of attachments that I want to focus on is the attachments that we have created on our end. So these are attachments to people, attachments to ideas that we have about ourselves, attachments to certain beliefs about the nature of reality, about life, anything like that. And then after that, we'll go to cutting cords, which to me can be created by two different people, but we'll be focusing on the cords where other people attach to us. So first we're going to be plucking the attachments that we've created, and then we'll go to the cords where other people plug into us. I hope that distinction makes sense to you guys. So I brought in a little tool, and I was inspired by Sarah Louise Tilsley, I think that's her last name, here on YouTube. She does Reiki ASMR videos as well, and I think it must have been last week or 2 weeks ago she posted a video on oceanic Reiki or seashell Reiki or something like that. I'll have it linked below. And she used a big shell, like a conch shell, to scoop out energy, which I thought was really nice, and I got some tingly ASMR from it, so I decided to whip out a little shell of my own to help sort through your attachments, and then we'll be plugging them out. So just combing through here, and then plucking them out. You also might be able to hear the seagulls and cars outside. I live really close to the beach, so. Okay. If there's any attachments that you yourself know that you want to let go of, you can bring them to the forefront of your mind so I can pluck it for you. And like I said, these can be attachments to not only people, but also beliefs that we have about ourselves or the world. I have noticed for myself that a lot of times I'm afraid of being seen as a bad person when I say no to another person, because I can feel so deeply into almost like the soul of another being and into their pain. I almost want to prove to other people that there are still good people in this world, and even though that's a beautiful thing, it's not my responsibility to prove that to anyone. And a lot of times when I find myself in that cycle, I tend to overstep my own boundaries, and I tend to be too understanding, too giving, too caring, to the point where it's not balanced out, or it's not reciprocated, or the other person almost like feeds off of me. So, and that's not good for the other person either. So, in the big scheme of things, we want to be self-sufficient to some degree. Obviously, we're all interdependent on each other, but we shouldn't have to use other people's energies to feel good about ourselves or those kind of things. So, okay. So before we go into cord cutting, let's have another little feel. And if you're open to it after the session, maybe tomorrow or later on, I invite you to journal about your relationship to your own empathy. Because sometimes we get overly identified with being an empath, and we forget that we have the right to say no. It's not because we can feel other people's pain that we have to feel it, that we have to go there. So, okay. So now going into a bit of cord cutting, I have my tiny little crafty scissors. It reminds me of a meme I saw. I'll see if I can find it and link it below if you want to have a good laugh. But let's go into cutting some cords. And for these ones, I'm focusing on cords that other people have attached to us, where other people are plugged into our energetic matrix. And of course, like I said, we're all interdependent on each other. We need humans to feel safe, to thrive, but to a certain extent, right? We don't want to overextend ourselves to our own detriment. I feel like it's always a good thing to put yourself first, and that might sound narcissistic or like egocentric at first, but the truth is that if you don't take care of yourself and your energy, you won't have anything to give to people. So we want to cut out the cords, the people that drain our energy in a way that we're no longer okay with. Maybe people who don't respect our boundaries, people from the past that maybe aren't in our lives anymore, that we already have cut contact with, but somehow they still manage to keep popping up into your life, or things like that. And I find for myself as well, especially in the past, I had a hard time cutting people out of my life because I know what it's like to not fit in. I never really fitted in as a kid in middle school or high school or anything like that, so I don't want to put that pain on other people and be the cause of someone's pain in that sense. But as I said before, it's really important that we protect our energy and that we have standards about how we want to be treated by others, how we want to feel in communication with others in the bigger sense of the world, or the word, not the world. So it's totally okay to say no to people, to cut contact. That doesn't make you a bad person. It just means that you have standards and that there are certain things that you won't allow into your space. So let's just do a couple of more. There we go. And then now that we have cut some ties, we have created an energetic wound or void, if that makes sense. So I have this beautiful sort of ointment perfume oil by the Lotus Cosmetics, London. I got this from Etsy. It's a perfume oil. It's called Golden Scent, and this one smells like vanilla, musk, amber, and jasmine. So it's a very warm, grounding, sweet, essential kind of scent. And I want to bring that essence of warmth into those spaces that we've created, basically energetically, in those little voids that we've created, to allow warmer connections to come in. People that see the good in us, where we don't feel like we have to prove ourselves to them. People who communicate with us clearly how they feel about us. We don't have to guess whether they even like us or not. They don't make us feel bad for small little hiccups and stuff like that. Just in general, warm people, warm connections. So I'm going to be placing a bit of this on my finger here, or my fingers. And then I'll be working this through your aura. You can kind of see this as a healing balm. A lot of times when we cut connection with people, a void is created in our lives where we might feel lonely at first, which is very normal. But it's better to be alone than to be in bad company, right? So trust that the universe has your back. From the moment that you cut someone out of your life, it creates an opening for other energy to flow into that space. So trust that in due time, at the right timing for you and for the other person, someone else will step forward, someone else will cross paths with you. That is much better for you. A person that is healthier, warmer, as I've said before, because that's what you deserve. That's what everyone deserves. To have warm connections. Okay. So, as I have alluded to earlier on, I have written down some affirmations. But before we get to the affirmations, I want to get into protection as an empath. The best way to protect yourself is not by wearing certain crystals or things like that, even though energetically that is really great, but we live in a material world, and I feel like the more 3D things have the biggest impact I've noticed, at least in my life. So for me, what really helps with protection is to work on getting comfortable with setting boundaries, getting comfortable with being vocal, with using your voice and speaking up when you feel like something isn't right, when something is treating you or someone is treating you in an unfair way. Also, trusting your body, your intuition, when it's telling you there's something off about this person, there's something off about the situation. I don't feel comfortable here, right? Your body will reject the energies of other people. You'll feel really tired, you'll feel brain fog, you'll feel anxiety around people that are no good for you. So listen to those things and trust those things. A lot of times when we have a hard time trusting our intuition, it's because we have been gaslighted in the past, where maybe a caregiver or someone who was close to our immediate circle didn't affirm our hunches or the small thing that we noticed, or they would dismiss basically our boundaries that we set when we were younger. And so we learned to not trust the things that we perceive, that we hear, that we see. Little things where, for example, maybe someone told you a story in a certain way the first time, and then the second time they changed crucial details, and then you confront them and they say, oh no, you just heard it wrong the first time, or no, I didn't say that, even though you're very sure that that person said those things, right? People gaslighting you in that way. If you had that as a kid, after a while you start to learn that you can't trust the things that you pick up on. So when it comes to protection as an empath, it comes back to using your voice, right? Communicating your boundaries and trusting your intuition. Your intuition is so on point, so strong, and you can trust it, okay? You're not too much when you are confronting someone on those little things. If that person makes you feel like too much, like you're being dramatic or whatever, that person is not for you. That person is gaslighting you, or probably just feels uncomfortable by the fact that you picked up on it, right? So I wrote down some example boundary phrases which I want to infuse into your aura, so that those phrases become second nature, so that we become comfortable with those phrases, so that they are part of us and they can come out of us easily and effortlessly. So the first one, no, thank you. Very easy, very simple, but hard to say. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Can I get back to you on that? Can I get back to you on that? Can I get back to you on that? I'm feeling overwhelmed. Can we talk about this tomorrow instead? I'm feeling overwhelmed. Can we talk about that tomorrow instead? I'm feeling overwhelmed. Can we talk about that tomorrow instead? I have to go now. I have to go now. I have to go now. I won't have this conversation with you until you lower your voice. I won't have this conversation with you until you lower your voice. I won't have this conversation with you until you lower your voice. I don't like it when you use that tone of voice. Can you please talk to me in a calm manner? I don't like it when you use that tone of voice. Can you please talk to me in a calm manner? I don't like it when you use that tone of voice. Can you please talk to me in a calm manner? I would love to stay longer. It's been really fun, but I have to go now. I would love to stay longer. It's been really fun, but I have to go now. I would love to stay longer. It's been really fun, but I have to go now. I invite you to create your own phrases as well, so that in the moment you have a little default set of phrases that you can use, especially if you're new to setting boundaries. Phrases that you have thought through and that you feel okay with communicating. So you don't have to limit yourself to the few that I've written down here in my little journal. And then next we have a couple mantras, and I'm going to use my rose quartz to sort of feather in the mantras into your auric field. So feel free to repeat these mantras with me. If you want to, I'll have a little pause after them. And yeah, it's not my responsibility to heal others. I don't have to prove my goodness to anyone. People can dislike me, and I can still be a good person. I don't need to be everything to everyone to be worthy of love. It is safe for me to say no. If people get upset by my boundaries, it says something about them, not me. I can trust my intuition and my body's messages concerning other people. Again, feel free to add mantras that you made yourself. Feel free to share those below in the comments as well. Before we close off the session, let's just seal everything off with Reiki energy. So, putting the rose quartz to the side. Just going to seal in all the healing that has been facilitated in this session, allowing any new shifts and clicks to settle in, to become part of who you are. You're ready now to go out into the world again. I hope that you enjoyed this ASMR Reiki session for empaths, building boundaries, cutting cords, all that juicy stuff. If you are asleep, then sweet dreams. I hope to see you in a couple of days for a new video.